What is pi? This symbol is pi. Whenever you see this symbol, we're talking about something round, something circular, something spherical. Pi is the ratio of the circumference of a circle to the diameter of that circle. It's the relationship between the circumference and the diameter. Pi is equal to circumference divided by diameter. Circumference is the distance all the way around the circle, and diameter is the distance across the circle through the center. As you can see, the distance around the circle is much longer than the distance across the circle. The smaller number goes in the denominator, and the larger number goes in the numerator. People often forget which one goes on top. Pi is approximately equal to 3.14. This decimal goes on forever. Generally, we round it to 2 decimal places unless told otherwise. When you are doing calculations that involve pi, if your calculator has the symbol pi, use the symbol. If it does not, use 3.14. This is going to be less accurate than using the symbol pi, because the symbol pi is going to take in the decimal going on indefinitely. The reason we have a 3 here from this fraction is because the numerator is larger than the denominator. The distance around the circle is longer than the distance across the circle. This is more than 3 times this. The distance around the circle is a little more than 3 times the distance across the circle. 3.14 is the relationship or the ratio. Now I can isolate for any variable or any term in an equation. Pi is not a variable like x or y. It does not have units on it. Units are things like feet, inches, gallons, something like that. It does not have units. It's an actual number, like the number 1 or the number 100 or the number 55. It's an actual number. There are no units. There are units on circumference and diameter. We are measuring distance. So this is distance units to the first degree. Feet, inches, miles, yards. If I want to figure out the circumference of a circle and I know the diameter, I can use this equation. To isolate C, I had to do the opposite of what's being done to C. It's being divided by D, so I must multiply by D to get C by itself. Whatever I do to one side of the equation, I must do to the other. So pi times D equals circumference. If I want to isolate for D, look at this equation. If I want D by itself, I must do the opposite of what's being done to it. Pi is being multiplied to D, so I divide by pi. Whatever I do to one side of the equation, I must do to the other. So circumference divided by pi equals diameter. Now the radius of a circle is the distance from the center to the edge of the circle. So if you know the radius, you can determine the diameter. 2 times the radius equals the diameter. And you can use any of these equations. Let's look at some examples. In this first example, we have a line going across the circle through the center, and it's 9 feet. So the only thing we don't know is the circumference of the circle. We know the radius is half of the diameter, So the diameter is 9 feet. Half of 9 is 4.5, so we know the radius is 4.5. I want to know what the circumference is. We'll use this equation. Circumference equals pi times diameter. Pi is approximately 3.14, and the diameter is 9 feet. 3.14 times 9 is 28.27 feet. The feet units came from 9 feet. There were no units on the number pi. So the circumference is approximately equal to 28.27 feet. Remember, the circumference of a circle is a little more than 3 times the diameter of a circle. So the diameter is 9 feet. 9 times 3 is 27, and it's a little more than 3 times the diameter. So this looks about right. If you have a calculator with pi on it, you would multiply pi times 9 to get a more accurate number. Let's look at the next example. I have a line going through the center, but no label on it, so I don't know how long this line is. But sitting outside this circle is pi. So the distance around this circle is pi. So what I need to find out is diameter. I'm going to use this equation. Diameter equals the circumference divided by pi. So the circumference is pi. So pi divided by pi equals 1. So the diameter is 1 unit, whatever the units are. Feet, inches, miles. We would have determined that from the units that were on pi. I did this specifically because this would be a weird problem to most people. Why are you saying that this is pi? Because I'm telling you the distance around here is 3.14. The other reason I use this example is because any circle with a diameter of 1 unit, 1 mile, 1 inch, 1 foot, any circle with a diameter of 1 unit has a circumference of pi. Look at this example. If we were to plug 1 into this equation, the diameter 1, c over 1 equals c, so pi equals c. You're going to see this again. All you need to do is remember this equation or the relationship, and remember that the larger number goes on top and the smaller number goes on bottom, and which one is larger? The distance around a circle. You need to remember that pi is approximately equal to 3.14. So if you know one of these, you can calculate the other one. Let's look at the last example. We have a radius of 2.5 inches. Now, diameter equals 2 times the radius. So I can multiply this by 2, or add 2 of these together, 2.5 plus 2.5, that equals 5 inches. So the diameter is 5 inches. So I need to figure out the circumference. I use this equation. So circumference equals pi times 5 inches. Circumference equals pi times 5 inches, or 2 times the radius, which is the same as the diameter. 2 times 2.5 is approximately 15.71 inches. The units came from the units on the radius. I hope this lesson was helpful. Please leave a comment. Your comments help me improve the quality of these videos. Have a great day. No more math blues.